Hi everyone, this is my practical work number 3 about manipulating databases of our library management system. First of all, here our principal page. We have 6 pages. First of all, we must add an author. So we go to this page and add an author. For example, 5. I don't know. Okay, add. The author added successfully. If we need to modify the author, we input the ID of the author, for example 5, and we modify anything we need. Update. Okay, the author added modified successfully, and this message appears up in our page. Now, if we need to delete an author, we input the ID of the author, for example 5, and we click in delete. The author deleted successfully, like here appears up this message, and the author deleted in our list of authors. Now we go to the home page and managing books. We add a book, so we input the ID, anything here. Here in the selection author, for optimize our code, we select the choice of the author that exists in our database, in the table of our database. We go to our database, authors, and here, this is our author, 1 and 2. So when we add a book, we should select an author exists for creating the links about the book and the author. When we click add, the ID of the author and book go to the database of book and author. Now we create a link about, with ID book and author book. We go to the design and we show you the link. Okay, this book. Okay, books, book and author, and the author. Okay. Okay. It's okay. The ID of book and the ID of it stuck here, and the ID of author stuck here, and we have a link between this, between the ID author and the table of author, and the ID author in the book author table, and the ID book in the book table, and here in the loan. Okay, we start now to modify a book. For example, here we have 2, so we modify the title, anything we need. Okay, number of page, and select an author and update. This message appears up of the book modified successfully. And if we need to delete a book, for example 2, we enter the ID of the book and click delete, and the book deleted successfully from our database and from list of books here. We go to the book and we have one book saved in our database. We go to the home page and now managing members. We add a member ID, for example 2, okay, address, phone number, anything, and we click add, and the member added successfully here in our table in our database here. These two. Okay, now we delete or modify our member. Okay, we add two, any okay, the member modified successfully. And if we need to delete a member, like we enter the ID of this member and we click it delete. The same logic repeated itself in every page here. And we go to the home page. Now we go to managing loans. Here we have exceptions. We enter the ID of the loan that we have. We need to add. We add a date. Okay. We enter an exist member, an exist book, because if you enter an input ID don't exist in our table on an ID don't exist in our tables database, this platform show you in message error. We try one. For example, in our database we don't have an ID member for 23, and we don't have an ID book 23, and we add this 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 message appears up. The member ID doesn't exist and the ID book doesn't exist. And if add a member ID exists, we show us only ID book doesn't not exist, and the inverse. Okay, now we add a member exist. For example, here we have 1 and 2. Okay, 1, and we try with a book doesn't exist. Okay. Okay, the ID book that it doesn't exist. This is what I want to show you. Now we add everything exists. 3, 1, and the book we have 1, 2. Yeah, 1. And we click through. Okay, we click add. The line added successfully. Now we modify the line. 3, for example. Here. Okay. The ID number 1, here 1, 2, and update. And the line updated successfully here. Now if we want to delete a line, for example 3, we delete it from the table. Okay, we deleted successfully here and in our database. We go to the home page, and now we show you the book and author links. Here, the link with book ID and author. We have a book 1 created by the author 2 of member ID. We can delete this action, but we need this. So now the page of queries. The first of all, we have author and the member of books written. One here we have ID author, the first name, and the author last name, and the number of books created or saved for this author. Okay, and we have other due lines. We don't have any result because we don't save a line with with overdue lines. We should try this example. We go to the home page and add a line. Okay, for example, 3, and add a line overdue it. Okay, 16 and okay, ID number 1 and add. The line added successfully. Now we go to the home page and we go to the queries. Now the overdue lines added successfully because shows up. We have in case because the member Salma, the loan date, expected return date, and this date is overdue and the 13th of March. Now we have the number of books borrowed by each member. Here, Salma, and the member first name, the member last name, and the books borrowed. We write here the ID of the book. Okay, if we search for books borrowed by a specific member, for example, we enter the member ID 1 and we click search. This tables books borrowed by member 1 appears. The title of the book is data, the borrowing date is this, and the return date is shows here. Okay, now we describe the code. Here, the first page, the principal page, simple principal page, HTML code and CSS. Now we go to the member. Here in the member page, we have the database connection. We have the host, the name of the database, the username, the password to connect to the database. Here we created PDU instance to connect to the database. We initialize the PDU and set the PDU error mode to exceptions to handle errors. And here error of connection if we don't have a connection, if the PDU not connected. Okay, here the PHP code of adding a member, retrieve member details from the form, check if the member already exists, and if the member already exists, show an error. Okay, now if the member ID already exists, display an error message like here, message error ID, and display the ID member exists déjà. And now if not exist, display this message, and if not exist, try to insert a new member into the member table, then display access message, the member added successfully, and now display an error message if the insertion fails. error if the display have an error. Okay. Now the update a member. For updating a member, retrieve update member details for the form that we have inputted in already. Now try to update the member's detail in the database and display access message the member added successfully. Then display an error message if the update fails. Okay. Now the function of the condition of delete a member. Retrieve the member ID from the form, then try to delete the member from the form. If we try, here we have an SQL code to delete from member of the delete from the form from the table of members from our database where the ID member situate, and then prepare and execute the ID member and delete it. Then display access success message of member deleted successfully, and display an error message if the delete fails. Okay, here we have an HTML code and CSS of the form to display the form. Here here a PHP code to display the list of member, the table of list of member. We have an SQL code to select from the form of members the tables, the information from the table in the database. Now we go to the loan. We have the same logic in the no, not in the loan. We have the same logic in the other. Here we connected the database, we created new video and add an author, then check if the author already exists and create and select the count from the author where ID exists. Then if the ID exists, display an error, always and all these conditions. Then update an author, we have the same code, repeat. Okay, then we have delete another, the same code then, but we delete from the table author, not member. This and here delete from author where ID author exists. Here HTML code and CSS for the form of add and modify and delete. And here we have the display list of author. We get the information from the table author from the database. Now we have then create tables, this class of connection of database. We have class here of database. We create tables if not exist in the database, and we execute the creation of tables and close the connection. Then we go to the book. Okay, here in the books we have the same logic. We connected to the database and create a new video, and we verify if here we add the book and check if the book already exists. We update the book, and here the code of delete the book. Here we have the HTML code and the CSS of the form. Here we have an exception in the box. Drop down list to select an existing author. Here, select author here, and we have a label to select author exists in our database. And select the ID of author. Here we have PHP and SQL. Okay, and SQL code. Select ID author from the first name and the last name as a full name from author. Here we apply the vidéo and we show a message of ID and full name of author. Okay, here we have the form, and we close the form here of add a book. Here we have the modify book, the same thing, we have the same code, select author, and we have the delete book uh, code. Then we go to the loans. We have the same loans here. Yeah, we have the same loans. Okay, we have the same code of the connection and add a loan, delete a loan. Just we have here insert a new loan into the database. When you insert it, we have another variables, update the loan, the same codes, literally. And here we have the queries. We have 4 cases here. Now, connection to the database, and we create a new video function to display result in a table. Here, to display our information, here we have display tables. I have 3 parameters. We have okay. Here we prepare the SQL query and execute the query with the provided parameters and fetch all the results as an associative array. When we associate array, check if there are any results, and we have this condition, okay, and display table rows. Then we have this, if this condition not work, we have this condition, display a message if not result are found, result not found. Of the over this function, we this function display tables, we use this in all the code, and this we catch display an error message if the query fails, error executing query. Here not found, but here not existing, executing query. We have error in executing. Now the first query, the first case is display all books borrowed by a specific member. Here we get the member ID from the query parameters and define the SQL query to retrieve the books borrowed by the member. Here we have query select book title and loan from our database. Then where loan member ID and member ID. Then display the result in a table. We use the display table function and get the member ID from our database. Then we have the second case, list all author and the member and the number of books they have written. Here we select author and all of the column, the arrays that we need from the arrays in our database from author, and left join book author and author ID author, and the same code here repeated itself in the line for find overdue lines, books not returned in time. But here we're in this case we use current date for applying the current date. For example, today we have 2011 2044 24, so we compare with current date with this function of current date. The loan date return, we compare it with the current date. Then we book not return on time. We display our table here, and the fourth case is displaying the number of books borrowed by each member. We select member first name from our database, from the line, and then we display table. Then we have HTML code, CSS code, and we display our tables. Here, no, we display the labels of form. Enter maybe member ID here for searching a book borrowed by a specific member. And this is the part of the explanation of the code. This is our database. We have this database, the author table with all the column that we need, and the book author link, and the login table, and the member table. Everything is created successfully from this page. Okay, thanks for watching. Thank you so much for watching my video.